Hello, hello, my friends. Another dedicated candle review for you today. We are going to be talking about Fall Farmhouse from Caramel Sundays. Now, this candle that I am reviewing is one of the 4-wick vessels. This does retail for $64.99. I do not believe that this candle will be available in the August restock. I don't even think that it's coming in a 2-wick. If it is, I'll make a note here. I'm suddenly having a little bit of a brain fart, but I have a feeling that this fragrance is not going to be available at all in the August restock. However, this is a fragrance that I know was around in 2025. They brought it back this year. So I have a feeling that this is a staple in the Caramel Sundays fall rotation. So I thought that it would be a good idea now that I am at the halfway point to share my thoughts with all of you guys. As always, Caramel Sundays, 100% soy wax. Did I mention that I think this is a 40-ounce vessel? Shipping is always included in the prices. And let's see, let's go ahead and talk about this one because this has been a surprise for me. So, Fall Farmhouse has fragrance notes of poached peaches, pear slices, autumn spices, whipped vanilla, candied praline, and crunchy sugar cone. So this one on cold, I think ranked this towards the bottom of my July restock haul. And I said it was because something just smelled a little when I smelled it on cold, I wasn't so sure about the peach and pear with the spices and the praline. Like there was just something about it on cold that it was a like, but it wasn't one that I was just like overly in love with. Now, if you watched my review the other day of pumpkin cashmere, you will know it's really important to burn your candles because I think I actually ranked pumpkin cashmere as my favorite. And if you watch that video, well, I won't spoil it for you guys, but I am not in the majority with that fragrance upon burn. We'll just put it that way. And it's funny, this is a fragrance that I'm actually liking a lot more upon burn. So, what is my nose detecting? I'm definitely getting the peach and pear in here. And I would say that the peach and pear is a nice combination fragrance. The pear, I feel like I don't always love just straight up pear fragrances. They tend to turn a little bit sour to my nose. And in this fragrance, I think it works though, because it's saying poached peaches. So to me, the peaches in here, it's not the same peach note that I got, say, in their salted peach butter fragrance, which, oh my word, if you got that one a few months ago, that was a fantastic scent. I am actually kicking myself for not getting a backup of that because that was like peaches and brown sugar and butter. And it was just so like, it was like a peach dessert, like so good. This to me is more of like you are preparing the peaches for to bake, but it's not like the completed baked peach dessert. And also, again, there's some pear in there as well. So those two fruit notes are complementing each other very, very well. Now, there are definitely spices in here. My guess is that it's a combination of cinnamon, nutmeg, and clove. I'm not getting a super heavy clove note in here. Clove, I would say of the Caramel Sundays fragrances, the scent that I actually detect clove the most in is Fall Gathering, not to be confused here with this Fall Farmhouse. They are two very, very different scents. If you want something that's more clove prominent, you're definitely going to want to go for Fall Gathering. If you want something that is definitely more fruit forward and sweet, it's going to be this Fall Farmhouse. Now, I think that what is adding to the sweetness of this fragrance, it's not necessarily coming from the fruit. I think that there is a tinge of sweetness here coming from the crunchy sugar cone and the candied praline in here. It says whipped vanilla in that mid note. I honestly don't get a ton of vanilla. The vanilla is probably a note that's in here to probably lend a little bit of balance to keep things from getting overly sweet, which I guess I can appreciate. I don't detect a ton of nuttiness in this fragrance either. To me, you guys, this is a very sweet, fruity type of scent, but I will say that I feel like this is a very, very appropriate scent for this month, August, as well as maybe early September if you are a seasonal burner. There's something about this that's a little bit nostalgic to me, and I think the reason why is I've talked about when I was growing up that there was a little orchard about not very far from my house at all, maybe like 2 miles from my house. And in the springtime, if you guys know my affinity for lilac fragrances, they had lilac bushes, and my mom used to go there, and they have this like over 100-year-old barn where you would go in and get the lilacs and whatnot. But during peach and pear season, when they would harvest that, we would go and get just like um, pallets of peaches and pears, and my mom used to bring them home. And of course, we would either eat them raw or, they would be turned into some type of, concoction, some type of baked good. And I think that that's why this fragrance is feeling a little bit nostalgic to me, because it is reminding me of that when I was growing up, of the peaches and the pears. Again, it's pretty. I like that there's spice in here. Where that is the theme of this week, right? Katie likes spice with her fall fragrances. I like spice and fruit together. You pretty much combine those, and I'm pretty much always going to like it. And I think that that's really what's keeping this from just becoming too sweet for me. I feel like if there was no spice in this, I don't think that I would appreciate the fragrance as much. But it's very well balanced. Again, I'm liking it a lot more upon burn than I thought that I would. Now, that being said, you guys, I will say that I've burned this with Cody home. Cody is a peach hater. We all know that. And he actually has not complained about this one. He actually likes it. So if you're somebody who, again, you're nervous about the peach note, maybe not be. Again, I don't know if this fragrance is going to return again for any of the fall restocks. It's hard to believe, you guys, but we will have, we have the August restock happening in a couple of weeks. And then September, I have a feeling, is still going to be fall. It's probably still going to be fall and Halloween, but I have a feeling that they might even start throwing in some like fall to holiday transitional scents in that one. And then October, I know that they're going to start launching Christmas. So, I don't know, again, if this fragrance is going to be seen again in 2026, but being that I've seen this, come into their lineup the last couple of years, it's worth doing a review on. Strength and Throw. You guys know I burn my candles in hurricanes. This one's been burning for about 4 hours in a hurricane, so I've got a nice deep wax pull here. I'm going to tell you guys, first burn on this candle was very, very light for me, and I found that to be a little bit concerning. I went ahead and let it sit for about another 2 weeks before I lit it again, and I will tell you that since then, my Strength and Throw has been a lot better. So I'm not sure if maybe this one was maybe just a little bit too close to that, like, perfect, or not perfect, but like soy wax needs to cure for at least 2 weeks. Sometimes if you let it sit a little bit longer, it gets a little bit better. And I think that was the case with this fragrance. Strength and Throw on this one, I'm going to give this about an 8 for me in this 4-wick. These 4-wicks, that tends to be where they fall for me. I do find that this takes a little bit of time to get going in terms of starting to throw. But again, once it does, it does a very good job. This pairs really nicely with Autumn Jam. I'm really liking it with that fragrance. I've also been pairing this with Blueberry Bakehouse, or maybe if you are planning to pick up Dad's, is it Dad's Cobbler? What I know that the Fresh Baked Cobbler, Dad's Blueberry Cobbler, I think that's what it's called, will be in the August restock. I feel like that's going to be a nice combination. I feel like this would pair really nicely with like another like spiced blueberry scent. I have Double Dip Danish in my collection, but honestly, that fragrance is more of like a spring summer scent for me. Again, I want fruit and spice this time of year. So I've been burning it with Blueberry Bakehouse and really been enjoying that. I imagine that this might go nicely with like coffin cake as well. A lot of combinations that you can make with this one. But again, in this vessel, it's about an 8 for me. I know that on a lot of my reviews, you guys, I tend to give that ranking. A lot of candles for me tend to be in that anywhere between 5 to 8. Sometimes they hit a 9. But very rare. It's very rare for me to get candles that are actually in the extremes, right? It's very rare that I get a candle that's completely like unscented and below a 4, and it's rare that I get a candle that is a 10 for me. And I kind of like it that way, right? I feel like anywhere between a 6 and an 8 is going to be the most versatile, and it's meeting my performance expectations. And I would say this one is as well. So, anyways, let me know in the comment section down below if this is a candle that you have experience with. What do you think? What does your nose pick up on in terms of the fragrance notes? Always curious to hear what others are thinking. Again, if you found this video helpful, please make sure you hit the thumbs up button. Consider subscribing to my channel if you are new. I do want to say thank you so very, very much for spending your time here with me today. And until my next one, I hope you all go out and have a very blessed day. Bye.